This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. On Stockbox today, I'm joined by Rob Scott, the Executive Director of AAA, and Simon Phillips, the CEO of Comarco. So, if I can start with you, Simon, we'd like to get a bit of an idea about what the Comarco Group are all about, where you started, where you are now, and where you're going. So if I can hand over to you for the next few minutes, you can give us the lowdown.
Okay, thanks very much, Mark, and obviously thank you for the opportunity to have a chat with you and Rob. So starting from the beginning, Comarco was incorporated and established in Mombasa in 1971, and originally commenced life as a diving company, commercial diving company, and we have just celebrated our 50th anniversary in May this year. Mm-hmm. So as part of a commercial diving company, the founder of the company was Peter Phillips, together with Johnny Antoni, and got involved in marine logistics and the diving side of operations in the late 70s, and started investing in their own port and workshop facility, as well as a marine fleet to operate in East Africa and the islands within the region. So I joined the company in 1996, and I joined originally as the administration manager, mm-hmm. and had experience working in the field as well as working within the office in order to get a proper grounding in how the company works and how the company operates. In 2005, I was appointed to the position of MD of the Comarco Group within Mombasa, Kenya, which comprises the marine logistics operations as well as the port operations and the port owning facility. Mm-hmm. So in terms of what it is that we do, I think it's fairly simple to split the group structure into two different entities. Mm-hmm. And the one entity is the marine logistics, which entails the owning and operating of a marine fleet of tugs, barges, landing craft, small jack-up platforms, and utility craft. We own the majority of this equipment, and we operate, as I said, principally in the East African region, from the Gulf all the way down through Somalia, Kenya, Tanzania, Mozambique, South Africa, and also the islands of Madagascar, Reunion, Mauritius, Comoros, and the Seychelles. Mm-hmm. In addition, we own our own port facility, which we have developed since the mid-70s on a piece-by-piece basis. And we now own and operate the largest private port facility on the eastern coast of Africa. The port itself comprises 65,000 square meters of land, which provides warehouse capability, offices, open area storage, a medium-sized jetty for access of vessels up to 145 meters length, and 2 barge berths for us to be able to operate project cargo. Mm-hmm. We have also been licensed and gazetted as a private port facility on the same legal footing as the Kenya Port Authority to operate a private port in Mombasa, which is adjacent to the main port. And we have a license to operate a sufferance wharf and also a gazetted area to operate as a customs bonded warehouse. Mm-hmm. As a consequence, we are entitled to import and export cargo and also to handle transshipment cargo through our main port facility.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the products or the cargoes that we can handle, we are able to handle bulk cargoes, project cargoes, and break bulk cargo. The licenses that we have from the main port, the Kenya Port Authority, in addition to the Kenya Revenue Authority, allow us to handle all cargoes apart from saloon vehicles and also from liner-owned containers, because of the metric which the Kenya Port Authority uses to measure its growth is principally through the liner container business.
Oh, good. Thank you, Simon. That's a lot of information there about the history of the port, and it's a very large facility, 65,000 square meters. It's a very, very large area you've got there. I wonder, what's the future look like for the Comarco Group? What are the plans?
Okay, thanks, Mark. I mean, again, just sort of focusing on the two business streams, the marine logistics and the marine fleet, and also the port. I will just deal with the opportunities for each of them separately, so as to avoid mixing them up. Mm-hmm. On the marine fleet, we've obviously had more than half an eye on the enormous developments which are earmarked for northern Mozambique. We've been following the progress there of the LNG facility for a number of years. Sadly, it's been a little bit stop, start over the past few years, and we have picked up a fair amount of work doing this in handling cargo through our port, but also providing some of our marine fleet to operate in northern Mozambique, in Pemba and the Palma area. As you're probably aware, the project is now in delay because of the security issues that Total and the others have faced in Mozambique. Mm-hmm. We believe that this delay is not going to be of a permanent nature, but also we expect that work in northern Mozambique for the logistics side of things will probably be delayed until closer to the end of the year, the beginning of 2022. Whilst this may be seen as a little bit of a drawback, from a Comarco point of view, it is and it isn't, in the sense that we have not invested a huge amount of capital in the project at this stage, and whatever opportunities that we were working with and on in respect to the project so far have been using our existing marine fleet. We believe that this hiatus in the project is actually an opportunity for us to complete the RTO with AAA. And obviously, as part of the capital raise, we have targeted and earmarked certain vessels that we would like to move into the region, again, secured contracts in terms of what we have been working on and developing over the past 18 months. So although the timing is not ideal from a Comarco and AAA point of view, I do think it is actually more of a silver lining than a cloud, in order to enable us to get our feet properly under the table with our new structure, AGA. In addition, what we have found is that there has been significant local work in Kenya, and we have been able to keep our existing marine fleet largely occupied working with companies in East Africa. And at the moment, we are in the fortunate position of having more opportunities and more demand for our existing equipment than we do have equipment available to meet that demand. So on the one hand, there has been a delay in the Mozambique project, but on the other hand, we've seen a significant uptick in local work in order to keep our existing equipment busy whilst we continue the RTO with AAA, and enable us to invest in an increased and newer marine fleet in order to enable us to take full advantage of the Mozambique opportunity, also in the understanding that our existing marine fleet is well occupied within East Africa on non-oil and gas work, which is ongoing for at least the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay, well, Simon, thank you very much. Lots of information there. Rob, if I can come to you now from AAA. We obviously heard a lot there about the port from Simon. It seems like a great opportunity. But what specifically do you and the team at AAA like about it? Why are you getting involved? Why are you buying it? And again, what does the future look like from your point of view?
Mark, thanks very much for the question. I mean, I think there's a couple of reasons why we like the port. One, it's been in existence for almost 40 years. I think Simon alluded to, he's done the hard yards, and he understands the business inside out, both from a marine vessel point of view and a port point of view. He spends a substantial amount of his time in Mombasa. So I just think from a pure operational point of view, it's got great management. I think the sort of the other opportunity is it's had a tough 5 years. There's no doubt about it. I think the economy, the macroeconomic situation across the continent has been a little bit tight over the last couple of years, but we certainly see a change in that. And it's generally always sort of underpinned by a change in the resource cycle. And I think two issues have come to the fore. One is the change to battery metals, and that's going to have a big impact on the continent, certainly from an export point of view, but also from an import point of view. And as a result, the ports are going to get busier by a logical definition. So we certainly see that the GDPs of the continent is going to improve greatly, and we would like to be there to take advantage of that. And so and also I think the structure of the acquisition, it's an asset-based transaction. The vendors are all going to remain shareholders, so they see the potential. They're staying in the potential. They just want to have the ability for the liquidity, because there's slightly different demographics in these shareholders, and that's some need a little bit more liquidity than others. So the listed business and the listed vehicle certainly creates that opportunity. I think equally as well is there's a great potential in terms of bringing other assets into AAA on a similar sort of logistical vein, port, marine assets, logistics, that we can actually start getting a little bit larger, getting some economies of scale, which I think is quite important. And I think just taking advantage of the increased trade that is going to occur across the continent. So that's really where we see the opportunity. Great management, good knowledge. Everyone's worked in Africa for many, many, many years. We understand it, and it's the opportunity to grow with the continent is actually quite exciting for all of us. So I think that's where the benefits are.
Okay, and when do you see the RTO completing then, Rob?
That's the $20 million question. Look, relatively soon. I mean, it's now a process. There's a couple of items that need to be done. There's internal items, finishing off last year's audit and the review now. So those are the small items and the process items that need to be done. It then gets all sent to the UKLA. That's also time. So I'm certainly looking in hopefully the next 2 to 3 months. Like always, there could be slippage. And obviously a concern that we do have is, with travel being curtailed last year, I suppose there is a concern that certainly where we're raising money in the UK, I think people might be traveling more than they would have just because of the blockage. So we're trying to get it done as quick as possible. I'm certainly hoping for the next 2 to 3 months. But there are third parties that we rely on, and hopefully everyone will play their part.
Okay.
So it's imminent.
Imminent. Okay, good. Thank you both very much for your time. Rob Scott there, the Executive Director of AAA, and Simon Phillips, the CEO of Comarco. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks very much, Mark. To echo Rob, do appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.